Hey guys, and welcome to Social Studies. We are going to be going through the last section of this lesson today, which is Section 8, the Golden Gate Bridge, and we're going to complete the lesson game. So please open up your TCI webpage, make sure that you're in Social Studies, and click Assignments. Once you're there, you're going to see the first one, which is Section 8, and then there's the lesson game. So for Section 8, you're going to click on Section 8. It's going to bring up the Golden Gate Bridge section, and we'll go through this together. Once we go through this lesson, then you're going to complete the lesson game. We'll talk about that afterwards. Once you're finished with both of those, you can turn it in, and we are done with social studies. Let's check it out. So the Golden Gate Bridge. You may recognize the Golden Gate Bridge from books or television. Where can you find this famous landmark? The Golden Gate Bridge crosses the entrance to San Francisco Bay. The bridge opened in 1937. At the time, it had the tallest towers of any bridge in the world. Take a look at those towers. So you can see how big these towers are on this bridge, which is a suspension type bridge, and it's suspended by these two towers and these long cables, and then these skinny cables that hold the bridge up. Obviously, the bridge is supported as well by this steel framing here and the concrete that makes the bridge for the roadway, but everything on that bridge is supported by these towers. So that was what was so famous about this bridge, being that these towers, being that there's two on either end. If you were in the boat going through the bay, it looked like a gate. So there you go. It's a landmark in San Francisco, and that is in California. The city of San Francisco is at the south end of the bridge. San Francisco is in the state of California. People cross the bridge to get to other parts of the state of California. If you look to the west of the bridge, you can see the Pacific Ocean. This ocean touches the west coast of the United States. Do you live near the Pacific Ocean? No, you live about as far away as you can from the Pacific Ocean in the United States of America. So there are states that are a little bit further than New Jersey, out in to the east, but we are one of the furthest states that you can be from California and from the Golden Gate Bridge. So taking a look at this, they were talking about how you can look out here and see the Pacific Ocean. This is the bay. So if we've go back to like geography when we were talking about social stuff or science, we look at maps, and when you look at like a map of like a biome, you could see like the water has different places: lakes, rivers, creeks, bays, and then oceans. Oceans are open bodies of water, and a bay is surrounded by land. So in this case, the bay here is surrounded by land. As you can see, there's land on this side, there's land on this side, there's land on this side that you can't see, and then on this side, it's open to the water, and that's called a bay. We have a lot of bays in New Jersey. If you go down towards Ocean City area, you'll have the Egg Harbor Bay, the Great Bay, the Barnegat Bay. So there's quite a few bays in New Jersey as well. So let's take a look. Where is California on this map? We've explored Florida, South Dakota, Illinois, Arizona, New York, and finally, California. Hopefully you saw that. California is all the way on the other side of the country. And when we do that, we're going to be labeling it. So we have to label Golden Gate Bridge. So put the text box there, put Golden Gate Bridge, and then put California. Once you have that, decide where you're going to put your box. I'm going to put mine above. And then I'm going to take a pen and I'm going to draw a line from our location, which is South Jersey, just below that little V in Jersey. I'm going to draw a line all the way across. You'd have to cross the whole entire country to get to the Golden Gate Bridge from our house. And then I'm going to collect my line and bring it down to my scale. So once I have my line on my scale, you can see I have a long line that goes way beyond the scale. So since it goes so far beyond the scale, I'm going to take a box and I'm going to measure my scale using a square or a rectangle. And I'm going to make my rectangle just as long as the scale, like a ruler. So I made a box here that is 1,000 miles long, according to this map. Now I'm going to make one more box that finishes my line so I can see how far that line goes. So take a look at what we got here. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm making another box, and I'm going to use this box to show how long my line is. So I'm going right to the edge of my line, starting at the edge of that box. So the edge of this box is 2,000 miles. Now, how far along is this box that I made? So this box I made is 500 plus some. So if I were to look at this, I'm not quite halfway through. So since I'm not quite halfway through, I'm going to say I'm about half of a half, which is a quarter. So I think that a quarter of 500 is about 125, I'm going to say. So 125 plus 500 is 625. So let's estimate that we are around 2,625 miles from the Golden Gate Bridge. Now I'm going to put in here Sicklerville, that's where I live, to Golden Gate Bridge. And I want to see what they say here for it. 2,900 miles. As you can see, it's not a straight, like if I were a bird flying, I wouldn't drive as many miles as I would if I'm driving on highways. So they have me going to the north a little bit, then they got me going south, then they got me going north, then they got me going south and north again until I go south again. So with that, they're adding about 300 miles to it, based on, or 275 miles based on our estimation. Now, I'd love it if you guys did the same thing by looking on Google to see what your distance is. So mine is 2,900 miles. According to the scale, I found that it was around 2,625 miles. So we weren't too far off with our estimation there when we looked at the scale and our boxes. So take a look at yours and see if yours was pretty accurate to what you said. All right, you can see I'm trying to get my box right. So now that you have that done, you can go on down to this part, add the text box for your city. I'm going to put Gloucester Township. I'm going to put our estimation of 2,625. And then if you want to put the exact one that you found, if you looked it up like I did on Google, then go for it. And then I'm going to put Gloucester Township again. And it says the direction from Gloucester Township to the Golden Gate Bridge is, take a look, west and south, southwest. Box in there, southwest. Once you're finished with that, now you can turn that in right here at the bottom. Just make sure you turn that in before you X out of this window. Once you're finished, X this out and go back to the Google Classroom. Once you're back in the Google Classroom, you're going to have a spot where it says, there's a link there for View Pure. I want to have you go, ooh, I X'd out before I was done. We have the lesson game still too. I apologize for that one. I can't take it out of the video now. So make sure you get back into TCI. We have to do the lesson game. Sorry, guys. But then you have this video as well of the Golden Gate Bridge. So I want to just open that one up while I'm waiting for TCI to load back up. I'm going to go back into TCI so I can show you how to get to that. I'm loading up that video as well. So that video will be available for you to watch. And it's about the Golden Gate Bridge. So Golden Gate Bridge for kids, you're going to just watch that video on View Pure. And then we're going to go back here. We're going to the assignments, and you'll see that the lesson game is there. So you have the video as well as the lesson game. I'm going to walk you through the lesson game right now. Sorry to make you guys close that and reopen it. Maybe you didn't close it and you're still in TCI. So the lesson game for lesson 2. And the lesson game today, picture maker. You get a score right here. Answer the questions to reveal a picture. Then use the picture to answer the final question. Here's the final question. So, why are all states similar? They are all the same size. They all have the same weather. They are all near oceans. They all have communities. What's true about all states? All states aren't the same size. All states do not have the same weather. That's why I'd love to live in Florida, Georgia, Texas, anywhere down there because I like warm weather. They are all near oceans. Not true. If you're in South Dakota, you're about as far from an ocean as you can be. They all have communities. Once you turn these in, you'll get a point. It starts to reveal a picture once you get all these done, and you'll get a score, and then you answer the final question. I can't even click it because I'm not done. But you can see they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 12 questions. Get them all done, and then guess on your final answer, and you are done with your lesson game. Watch the video from ViewPure, and you are done with social studies. Hope you enjoyed social studies today, and you're feeling really confident. We are going to have a test tomorrow. I'll have a video to go along with it, or we'll be in Zoom. It's up to you. So make sure that you are available tomorrow for your test. And that will be the end of lesson 2 in social studies. And tomorrow we have, Wednesday, we have a fun activity for the half day schedule. I'll talk to you guys later. Palm it.